Hey, it's Lola from Boss Ass Living here, and today I'm going to be riffing on self care. Going to be talking specifically about self care as a way of being and less about the doing of self care, which I think there's a lot of information on. You can very easily Google 100 ways, 100 self care tips, and you'll get a whole list of wonderful things. And whilst that has its place, today I really want to focus on the being of self-care because self-care is so important for absolutely everybody. But I think even more so for people who are creating their own lane, trying to live their most authentic life, trying to lead and love and live in their most authentic way. That's a tough old path to be on. Very rewarding, don't get me wrong, extremely fulfilling, extremely meaningful. You will not have any regrets on your deathbed at the end of your life for following this path. And you will be challenged in ways that you've never been challenged before, and it will be completely worth it. A lot of the challenges are going to come from the fact that you are going against the mass consciousness that you were raised in, that you've internalized, that you bloody marinated in the womb. You came in with this stuff. You took on more information and you followed that path dutifully. This, generally speaking, these are the type of people that I tend to work with. You followed that path dutifully, you've done really well at it, you've succeeded really well, only to be hit with a massive anticlimax of, is that it? Is this it? Are you serious? There's got to be more to life than this, right? And so then you set off on a new path to figure out, you figure out that you've ended up in this place because you weren't living your life. You was living some kind of other people's lives and it wasn't working for you. And you would like your happiness, you would like your joy, you would like your fulfillment. So you set off on your own path to find your own way, to find out, one, who you are really, who you really are underneath who they told you you needed to be, and to build your life from there. And so self-care is a super important piece of that because you're kind of creating your own path as you go. There's that lovely Paulo Coelho quote, which is, it's the desire to walk that creates the path ahead. I love that quote. So you're making it as you go. You're not following somebody else's. It's not a well-trodden path before you. And that takes a lot of courage, a lot of energy, a lot of strength, a lot of vulnerability, a lot of creativity, a lot of trust. And these things are actually extremely tiring. They're really tiring to live your life in that way. So you have to recharge, you have to recover. Also, you're going through a lot of change and transformation. So your body has to integrate all the time. It's kind of constantly integrating and digesting this new information coming in and the baggage that you're letting go of. So self-care is very important. Like the recovery side of self-care is really, really important. That rest and that digest kind of parasympathetic nervous system kind of stuff is super important. But as I said, I want to focus on self-care as a way of being. Yeah, because you can live your life as self-care. Self-care doesn't have to be like, okay, I'm doing self-care now for an hour. You can live your life from a place of self-care. I kind of think you're supposed to, because it feels so damn good to do that. And also it allows you to do more, I'm personally so much more creative and impactful when I live my life from a place of self-care. When I look at self-care as a way of being and not just a load of tasks that I do. Let's think about this, right? Imagine, we all know that movement is important for your self-care. We all know you've got to move your body. Yeah, some form of exercise is good for you, and we all know why. Well, yeah. However, there's a difference between doing the movement from a place of fear and a place of love. Yeah, there's a difference between, you can do the same action. Okay, so let's say you go for a run. Now, you can go for a run from the place of, I need to go for a run. I didn't go for a run yesterday. Summer's come in. My body's hideous. I need to sort it out. I'm disgusting. I need to run, I need to burn off all this shit that I've been eating. So you can run from that place, or you could run from a place of, I just love running. It just makes me feel so good. I get to clear my head. It's quite a meditative practice for me, actually. I can really hear my breath. I love being out in nature. I'm in the outdoors. I just feel so amazing afterwards. So it's, you can, they're the same act, running, the same act. However, one is self-care in my book, which is obviously the one that was coming from a much more encouraging, loving, joyful space. And the other one isn't self-care, it's self-punishment, okay? And even acts of self-care, like going to the gym or going to the sauna, I don't know, there's so many different acts actually of self-care that can be done. If they can all be done from a place of punishment. So check in with your self-care practices, because we can also get into self-care can become a thing of like, oh my God, I should be doing self-care. I know. It's one of those words that's bandied around a lot at the moment. I know. I should be caring for myself. I'm so bad at caring for myself. All right, I'm just going to do this thing, do this act of self-care. Again, if you're coming from a shouldy, obligated place, a fearful place, I'll do it because I'm scared of what will happen if I don't. It's not self-care anymore. It's really not self-care anymore. Self-care can look like eating a slice of chocolate cake. And also self-punishment could look like eating a slice of chocolate cake. Self-care can look like sorting out your finances because you are moving towards something, or you want to get on top of them. You acknowledge that they're causing you a lot of stress, so you just want to get them sorted. Self-care comes in many different shapes or forms. So like I said, it's less about the act of self-care, and different acts can be self-care at one time and self-punishment at another. So it's not a case of just having a list of, yep, here I am doing my self-care, meditating, doing my self-care. It doesn't work like that, It literally is, I think if your self-care act isn't coming from a self-care way of being, then it's not self-care, it's self-punishment. Yeah, I'm curious about how that lands for you, okay? Try that on. Try out looking at, just checking in with your self-care practices and thinking about like, what would make me feel really good? What do I really, really, really want to do? Is there anything I am doing that I did love to do? Actually, I'm not loving it so much anymore. And do I need to let it go? Yeah, it's completely okay to change your mind. Self-care practices evolve. They should evolve, I think, because you evolve. So check in. Your self-care may need an upgrade, but the best way to figure out what you need to do is to approach it from a place of how you need to be. So self-care is a way of being. Just commit to yourself, man. Commit to yourself and check in with your self-care practices. So that's it from me for today. I'd love to hear how you're getting on with this, actually. I'd love to hear what kind of came up for you, whether you had any kind of realizations as you was listening about maybe some self-care practices you're still doing that you don't need to be doing anymore. They've kind of, served their purpose for now. They may come back. And if you want to let me know, keep me posted about this kind of thing, please go over to the Boss Ask Living Facebook page and leave me a comment there. Good luck, darling.